by a small flake until they've got their arrowhead formed. Now once it is formed, then they're going to do like you see Joey doing over here. With something sharp, he's got a piece of metal. Now before they had the metal, they would use the tip of a deer antler and go around the very edges of it, just pressing it. Because what that does, by pressing the edges of it, gives it its final form. It will give it its sharpness. Now this type of, did you get fun? Oh, now this type of arrowhead was called square shouldered, but this one is called a round shouldered. Now the square shouldered one was the one that was used for war. Now once it goes in, because of its shape, it is either going to have to be pushed on through or it's going to have to be cut out. Now you could try to pull it out, but it is attached to sinew, and there's a reason for that. It's because when the sinew hits moisture or blood, it is actually going to expand, it will loosen up. Now if you try to pull it out, more than likely you're going to come out with a shaft, and this will drop off. Now the round shouldered one that you see right here, it is attached with hemp. The hemp makes it more permanent, but the round shouldered also makes it where it can be pulled out and used again. It was used for big game hunting like deer or bear, maybe even the mountain bison when it was in the area. So this was used for hunting, so you could pull it out and use it again. Now the bows themselves, the bows themselves were made to the size of the man. Of course, the one you see over here is probably more so like child size. The one over here is more man size, and it is carved from yellow locust. This one over here is carved from hickory. The drawstring itself is actually bear intestine. The drawstring on this one was sinew. The blowguns were made from river cane. These were made anywhere from 3 to 12 feet. Now, of course, 3 feet was probably child size. Now, where you see these lines are right here in the river cane, there are actually little joints or little membranes in there, and they have to be knocked out. Now, when settlers come into the area, of course, the rods were made available where they had the rods to do the trick. But then before they had the rods or metal, they would use something like this, and they would run it down in there, knocking these joints out. On the inside had to be smoothed down so the darts could go through and not get hung up. So what they would do, they would pack it with sand. Once it was packed with sand, they would use something like this, running it in and out. And it would sand down the edges, making a wall smooth. Now the darts for the blowgun, they were made like this. They were made anywhere from this size to 2 feet. These were carved, the shafts were carved from yellow locust. Again, they were tipped just like you would do a pencil. They were tipped off, and of course sometimes they would burn them. It would help keep their sharpness, keep their form. The tops of these right here come from a plant called a Scottish thistle. Now it grows in the area, and when it is in bloom, it is a purple pod flower lot. What they would do, they would gather those pods up and string them up like you see right here and dry them out. Once they are dried out, and you take one of those pods, you start taking all of these fibers off on the outside, you end up with this real fine down in the very center of it. And that is what that's on the top of this. They would take some, put some of this flower stuff on there, use the sinew, wrapping it again, put some more on there, wrapping it with sinew until it was topped down. Now these were used for small game hunting like rabbits, squirrels, maybe even turkeys. Now because they were used for game hunting and it was going to be food, they did not ever poison the tips. Is there any question about weaponry?
Is